Hi all. Well, first live stream going out. So welcome to everyone who's going to be joining us or is joining us. In front of me, I have four photos. None of them have been edited. Well, they have been edited before, but I'm going to show you how I edit them. I'm not going to do them in any order. But I'm going to start with this one. And this was just taken while I was out and about before the coronavirus kicked in. Shot in RAW. It's shot with a Nikon D500 and a 16 to 80 f2.8. So I'll show you the settings that I shot it at, and I'll try and explain a little bit about why I shot them at that as well. So we're at 34mm ISO 100 f11 1/64th of a second. Now, as you can see, it is dark. But the reason it is dark is because I shot for the sky. I didn't shoot for this. So this is one of the things that I'm going to do in the edit itself. So starting off, basically I'm in Lightroom CC or Lightroom Classic, and this is basically my workflow. I'll talk you through things as I go through them. If you hear background noise, it's just the kids and the wife moving around. You should be quiet, you never know. So what do I start with? Lens correction. Hit them both, it'll automatically pick out your lens, what make it is, and everything else that it needs to do. Once you've done that, basically you start editing. First thing I usually do is hit auto. It's not going to harm, it's going to give you a basic starting point. As you can see, it's quite bright on the top of the screen. So what do we do to make it a little bit nicer? Alright, first thing I do is I'm going to dehaze it, which will bring the clouds, as you can see, brings the clouds up, makes it a little more blue, and then I'm going to go to the temperature because I want the blue to come out a little bit more. As you can see, just by doing that, it brings out. I want to explain some of the sliders as well as I go through things, so you know what each slider does, or I'll show you what each slider does as we go through things. I haven't scheduled any time for this, so it might be 25 minutes, it might be an hour, who knows. Anyway, so dehazed it. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty sharp, but as you can see, I'm at 1:1. There is still a little bit of noise. So if you go down to detail, and all we're going to do is a little bit of noise reduction. Click on this, and as you can see, basically, you can see straight away the difference to 40, and that'll take some of the little dot, which is classed as noise, away. Now let's put a little bit of contrast in. That's all I do. So after that, I don't think it needs to be sharpened because the trees look really sharp as it is. A little bit of texture, which will build. This a little bit of green out. I think this is in the foreground, so a little bit too dark for my liking. So all I'm going to do now, you could put the exposure up to bring it up, but then it doesn't, you know what I mean, do anything to the clouds that you want it to do. So the easiest way to do it, your shadows and your blacks. Now that's what controls this. So you can bring your blacks up, that's bringing it up a bit, bring your shadows up. There you go, it's starting to come out quite nicely. Now I am maxed on shadows, so if I needed to, I can put the exposure up. By putting the exposure up, it means that when I drop the highlights and the whites to bring this back to where it was. That's about where we were before, and I'll shut that down. So after that, basically I'm just going to put a bit of clarity on and Drop the white a little bit more to bring the clouds out a little bit more. Take the contrast down. I'll go quiet just because I'm trying to get this, so it's quite nice. So as you can see, saturation, vibrance, basically that's your colours. I'm just going to put saturation a bit more green here. Now you can go into the likes of split tone and luminance and all that lot for different colours in here. I don't usually go into that unless there's a specific colour that I want to bring out. But considering what we started with, that's what we've started with. And that's what we're coming out with. Now, the only other thing I like to do, excuse me, I'll put it on silent in a second. The only other thing I want to do is basically straighten it if it needs it. Okay, we won't use auto. Rotate. Well, if you look here, so that's what I'm using as my straight line. I don't think that's far away considering. I need a tweak in there. That'll be about it. I haven't touched it to be totally honest, so must be alright. So that's the first one. Lightroom's you might look at all this and go, oh my god, what the hell? But once you get to know what each one does, it's quite easy, basically, you know what I mean, to follow it. I put my silence. So the other three photos I've got, I quite like that. I wouldn't go much and do anything else to it. Clouds are quite nice, like I say, compared to what we started with. It's not a bad photo. Right, so that's that one. I'm going to do this one next. Now, when I was out the other day, I was up at Causey Arch, and all this was here. I had no filters. Well, that's a lie. I had filters with me to be able to do milky waters or blurry waters, whatever you want to call it. But I decided not to do that because not everyone has filters. Not everyone can afford filters. So I decided I'll try and do a video showing you how to basically get the milky waters without having to use a filter. So this is still shot D500. So D500, about 56mm, ISO 100, f30, which is the highest f-stop I could get at that. And I'm at 1.6 seconds. And that's just blurring out the water. And basically, I know it's overexposed, but that's what I said in the film. It's overexposed. I'll show you how to edit it. So I'm going to do that now. But let's have a look. I mean, that's about what we're aiming for. That's where I edited it to when I put it on the videos. So let's start again. So again, lens correction will sort itself out and give you it all itself. Hit auto, and don't be ashamed by hitting auto because it's a good starting point. It's a good starting point to see what the program thinks that it should be. And from that, basically, you can interpret it or edit it how you want. Please do not get into the rabbit hole by thinking, oh, I've got to do it this way, I've got to do it that way. It's your personal opinion. It's how you want to edit the photo. It's in your eyes. You're the one who's took that photo. Now, on my Facebook page, I was chatting briefly to someone, and they said it'd be interesting if they sent me some of their images on raw files, obviously, and we both edited the image to see what differences would be about how he interpreted it, photo and how I'd interpret it. So I think that's what I might do. I might stick a email address for people to send. It'll be to a Dropbox account, basically just a raw file. But if I'm going to do that, I'll put it in the description and see what happens. See if people do send me it. See, you never know. But I think it's always interesting to find out how someone would turn around, especially because I know quite a lot of photographers. Most of my friends are photographers. And we always say to each other, oh, well, if it was me editing that, I would have made that a bit this or that. You know what I mean? It's all personal opinion. There's no right or wrong way to edit a photo, in my eyes. If anyone tells you any other, then I just ignore them. So, hit auto. That's what I've done. Again, I'm going to dehaze it. By dehazing it, basically, this starts to come out. The river starts to get, the lightest parts start to get more prominent. The darker bits start to come through. If you want to use a bit of clarity, put a bit of clarity into it. Don't worry about colours or shadings or how bright it is. What we're looking at is we're trying to bring as much detail as we can out of the water for now. Everything else we can basically do separate. I'll show you how to do that in a bit. So I don't think that's too bad. But now the background's a bit too dark, so I'm just going to put that up. Just one. Highlights I'll leave alone. Shadows, which is going to bring this out. Darks up as well. Bring that out. This is too bright still, so I'm going to drop the highlights. Drop the whites just a little bit. Like I say, I spend usually about 5-10 minutes on each photo. I mean, sometimes I'll take bits out. I could take that out because I might not like the way that is. You know what I mean? It might be a twiggy or something stupid like that. What's personal preference if you want to take bits and bobs out. So I'm going to make this green, just a little bit more green. I'm just going to use the saturation to bring that up. A little bit more contrast. White highlights down, whites down, blacks up. No point in trying to straighten it. And I'm just going to knock. Yeah. Right, so I'll just put the exposure up just a little bit. As you can see, I was only, well, not even one stop more than I should have been. 0.12 stop according to the photo. I mean, this is what we started with. That's what we started with. And that's basically what I'm looking at the moment. Like I say, it's personal preference. It's probably a bit overexposed over here. I mean, you could put a mask on it and just darken this down a little bit. But considering what we started off with, I mean, to what we have. I mean, I went through the point that when I first started, I didn't want to do a lot of editing, so I was trying to get it bang on in the camera. And in some situations you can, and in some other situations you just can't do it. You have to edit the photo. What you see via your eye, you will never see in the camera properly, because the camera will pick up way too much light. And our eye basically is this. This is what our eye does. It changes everything for us. It makes the lights lighter and stuff. You know what I mean? So yes, you can get it close, but you'll never get it bang on. I mean, I could play around with this and my heart's content till I get everything right on it, or how I feel it's going to be better for it. But that's about it, considering what we started with. I don't think it's too bad. I don't look bad at all. So that's image 2. Now, I did say landscapes. Now, I know this isn't a landscape, but how many people who do wildlife will basically do this? Take an image like this and go, can't do that with that. What's the point? So, how do we edit this? Well, this is what I edited it to. There you go. that's where I edited it to. So the process is practically the same. I always start out, when I first do this, lens correction, and then after that, basically, I won't hit auto, I'll crop it. Now, here's another bone of contention. People say don't crop your images. I'm sorry, but if you're a wildlife photographer, you have to, unless you're sat on it. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to crop your image. There's no ifs, two ways about it. But the idea is you crop it so you've still got a bit of the background. I think the rule of thumb that people say is if it's a bird and it's pointing this way, make sure there's space over here for it to fly into. Or if it's, you know what I mean, as I've done here, it's hovering, so I've left the Kestrel so it's got room above it, or sorry, below it. So there you go. So again, lens correction is done. I'll hit auto. So it hasn't done too bad at that. I think it's overexposed there, a bit too bright. But I know for a fact, when I first edited this, I didn't see the dots. If you're wondering what I mean by dots, take the dehaze all the way up there. So they're basically spots on my lens, and they're only little dust spots, but they are spots. Now, to get rid of them, basically, you just go onto that tool there, spot removal. Make it as big as you want. I usually have a feather about 24, well, somewhere between 20 and 30, and it'll just make the outsides. All you do is click on that, and it will remove it. I'm just gonna make it a little bit bigger. You can use your wheel just to make it bigger or smaller by clicking on it. When I've done this, you can see at the moment, but when I've done this, I'll take the dehaze back down, and you should be able to see where it's done it. Fingers crossed. Okay, we've done that. Might be a little bit. No, it hasn't done a too bad a job. It hasn't. I'll do it. Oh, you can just do that. Drag it close by. If it's got like way over the edge or miles away. What it is basically, what I try and do is get it as close as I can if I do it like this. And it's just a case of moving it around to see where it would be alright for you to drop it. Or you just delete it if it's not that bad. So you just got to hit delete and it'll get rid of that one for you. It'll just remove everything from it. There you go. The others aren't too bad. Delete. That's not too bad. Click on that. Feather it. You get the point. You can play around with it as much as you want. I'm not going to. I'm more concerned about this. So, as you can see, female kestrel in the hover. This is taken up near Captain Cook Monument on a walkabout before we got the coronavirus. By the way, guys, stay indoors. You know what I mean? Protect everyone, not just yourselves. Everyone in your family, the lot. Just stay indoors. Unfortunately, I don't have an option. Me and my wife are both key workers. So, just stay indoors. 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 Stay in So I'm going to bring the blacks up, concentrating on this bit now. Bring the blacks up, bring the shadows up. The shadows are up as far as I can now. If I wanted to, I didn't want to bring the shadows that far up. I can always drop that. Always lighten it a little bit. And bring them back down. Don't worry about the lightness here and here, because I'll deal with them in a second. So, darkness isn't too bad. Right, highlights down. Straight away. Not too bad. Bring the whites down. Bring the darks back up. And really do so I'm getting rid of with that. Don't want any dots. I'll live with that. So I'll do a quick zoom in. I mean, it's not a bad image, really. There's a bit of grain in it. So back down to detail. Noise reduction. I'll take it to 40. Take the contrast to 20. If this wheel's going round, don't worry about it. It just means it's trying to catch up. Computers way down. There you go. That's taking care of the grain. Still think it might be a bit too bright here. Across the top of the way. So I'm just going to take the highlights. Can't touch the highlights. Whites. Whites down a bit. If you think by bringing the whites down a bit, you think, oh, this is getting too dark. Just bring the shadows back up. You know what I mean? It's not going to be balance. That's what it is. It's just balance. So there you go, guys. Let's have a look what we started with. That's what we started with, and even if I zoomed in, you could see this is what we've ended up with. And as you can see, that's not bad. Not a bad image at all. I quite like it when I took it. I thought myself I'll be able to do something with that. So there you go, guys. I have got a fourth image, but this is probably the one that will take the longest time to do. I don't know. Should I do it? Shouldn't I? I don't know. Because basically I'll go into... Right. So I'm just going to show you. That's basically what I'm going to try to edit it to. If I remember how to. So let's have a look at what we were shot at. ISO 4000, 16mm f 2.8 and 15-second exposure. Now, the image itself is very grainy. There's no star movement out there. Maybe that there, but there's no star movement out there, which is what I wanted. So I've got most trails going on. It's very bright. I want that. Never mind. So, editing wise, usual thing, lens correction, and straight away it's already brought some of the colours out, and you can start to see some colours around it. Hitting auto, I don't think it does too much, to be totally honest. gallery. So I'm basically not going to do that. I'll go back and I'll start it from fresh. Get rid of that. So for this, what are you going to use? What are you going to do? I'm not going to touch really anything in here yet. I want to use an adjustment brush, which is too big, so I'm going to knock that down. I'm going to zoom in. A little bit more. Yeah. Right, easiest way to move around once you've got it like this. You can hit space and you can drag it around by clicking your left mouse, finger, whatever. Or you can go to this and you can just drag it around with this box. All I'm going to do is start at the top in the middle. You click this button here at the bottom, show selected mask overlay. And all that's going to do is when I start doing this, it's going to basically show where I've been. And that's all the overlay does. It's just a red mask basically shows where I've been. Put the feather on. And all I'm going to do is these bits here, I'm going to just run this down. And you'll see why in a second. At the moment all you're seeing is the red. Unfortunately this does take a while, so I'm going to do it really fast and I'm going to do it basically so you get the idea. When I did this properly, editing wise, I think it took me about 45 minutes to edit it properly. But if you've seen some of the other videos I do, you'll see why it takes so long. Because I go a little bit more careful than I'm doing at the moment. All you can see is the red, I know. But give me a second, let me get to the bottom. And you'll see what I'm doing. Thinking over. If you're unsure, you can always zoom back out. I don't start doing it with this because it'll be too big. Then go back into that. You know. So as you can see, I've just done a little bit of red there. So if I take that off, then over here in this panel, all I'm going to do, straight away, you can see it. Now I'll put it right up so you can see what I've done. That's where I've just painted. Yeah. And all I'm going to do is take it up. I mean, that's 0.1. Which is, that's very, very little. I'll put it up. But, so I'm going to save that one. Done. I'm going to hit it again. And then I'm going to go. Say if I wanted to add on to this one, if I just go up there and click on that one, that's the one I've done. Okay. So if I need to do more with that one, you don't have to start again doing another overlay. If you want more of this coming out, yeah, you can basically do it by clicking on that, and that will do it. Now, center. This basically is only going to be just a little bit through the center. Now you can get as picky as you want doing these. But like I say, when I edited, I think it was this image or another image I did, I did it in 2 stages, and there was the first videos I'd put on YouTube. I've just done one recently, 5-minute edit. Milkyway, which is a really fast edit, like I say. So that's it. Well, that's basically what I've done. So take that off, and all I'm going to do is put the exposure the other way. And straight away you can see the middle's a little bit darker. You could go again if you wanted, just one more. There you go. It's 21.1. But again, considering what we started with already, so that's what we started with. That's what we're on to at the moment. And it's brought it out straight away. So what would I do next? Well, you've got all these ones here. So I'm going to dehaze a lot of it. Clarity up. Texture I'm not going to touch. Right, black. Back. Shadows. Back. Highlights up a little bit. Lights up a little bit. Contrast up a little bit. Drop the exposure just a tad. Now that's it. It's as simple as that. There would be nothing. If anyone said to you, "That's what we started with. That's what we've ended up with," and you can see the difference straight away. I'll probably end up dehazing this a little bit more. I'll just do that quickly. Dehaze it just a little bit more. So there you go. There's your two images side by side. Like I say, you could highlight this where I've highlighted it. Yeah, and if you basically put the saturation up, which I'm doing there, it basically will start to bring the colours out more. It might not look like it, but remember you're only doing this bit, and you can see basically where it's doing. You can. Detail, I mean, it is very grainy. You can see from here it's really grainy. Noise reduction. Astrophotography, I wouldn't go too heavy on your noise reduction because basically it starts to blur things out and it doesn't look right. Whereas we've done we've put this right up here, you can see the colour difference. There's oranges and that coming out. So I basically took it down. Just going back a little bit pro, but not much. Might even put it just to give it a little bit of colour. And there you can see the colours coming through. And again, we'll just go back to start and finish. That's what we started with, and that's what we've got now. So there you are, guys and boys and girls and everyone else. First one live. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll put a link to my Dropbox. If you fancy me editing one of your photos, it's not a competition. It's not to see who can edit better. It's the interpretation of the photo. That's what I'm interested in. So if you can send me a raw file, I'll put my Dropbox email. When you do it, just put AGS, #AGS photo edit. Put 2 photos in there. Yeah, one of your edit, the raw file. I'll have a look at them and see if anyone's interested, or if I get any photos. And if I do, you never know, I might put yours on there. So, hope you've enjoyed this. I have. and I'll see you on the next one. See you later. Bye now.